Paydı maşınlar. Geçin otur. Maaşın baktı kullan göğüşmeye.
Ya İmam Hüseyin. Ya İmam Hüseyin geçtiler. Geçtiler. Vanetta geçti. Ya İmam. Hadi atın ya.
Baba hareket et.
Ya İmam Hüseyin. Baktılar öyle.
Öldüler.
Geldin ne maaş ne bilemez. Oyun öldü da. O şık gediydi o. Ölerler.
Yoldu mu? O yoldu. Bayağı yoldu.
Hadi öyle yoldu. Ceple falan abi ilerleyecek. Yetmez daha çağırınca fetaya yürüdü bu.
The death toll from floods in northwestern Iran has now risen to 41. Number of missing people has also risen to 22, following heavy downpours across 4 provinces of west and eastern Azerbaijan, Kurdistan, and Zanjan. Large number of cars and homes have also been damaged. The floods have also caused over a dozen roads to close. Rescue teams have been dispatched to help with relief efforts. Now, according to officials, some 100 flood-hit residents have been sheltered in safe places. Iran's meteorological organization blames unprecedented heavy rains for the heavy flooding. Leader of Iran's Islamic Revolution extended his condolences to the families of the victims. Ayatollah Sayyid Ali Khamenei called on officials to immediately take care of bereaved families and alleviate their pain.
At least 35 people have been killed and 8 more are missing as flash floods hit 4 provinces in the country's northwest. The floods were caused by torrential rains that began on Friday, with houses and cars having been swept away. Local media have called the rains Iran's most severe in 40 years.
A deadly landslide has rocked Colombia for the second time this month, claiming at least 11 lives just weeks after more than 300 were killed in a similar disaster in Mocoa. 20 remain missing after the landslide hit several neighborhoods in Manizales, the capital of Caldas province, one of Colombia's main coffee-producing regions situated to the west of Bogota. Colombian President Juan Manuel Santos said he was trying to get to the scene, but that airport closures due to bad weather had delayed his journey. He said he would make his way to the city as soon as the airports reopen. Mayor of Manizales, Octavio Cardona Leon, blamed recent heavy rains for the deadly landslide, saying the city had seen a month's average rainfall in just one night. Landslides are a common occurrence in the South American country, with its mountainous landscape, heavy rains and informal construction frequently combining with often disastrous effects.
At least 11 people were killed and 20 are missing after a landslide struck several neighborhoods in Manizales, capital of Caldas province, west of Bogota on April 19. This is the second deadly landslide in the country this month. President Juan Manuel Santos said in his Twitter article that he was trying to get to the scene but blocked by continuing bad weather.
Quise ir desde esta mañana a Manizales a acompañar a todas las autoridades y a todos los manizalitas, pero están en este momento cerrados los aeropuertos de Manizales y de Pereira, pero apenas esos aeropuertos podamos utilizarlos, allá estaremos acompañando a Manizales en este momento de dificultad.
The incident happened less than 3 weeks after flooding and mudslides provoked by heavy rain ravaged the southern town of Mocoa, killing more than 300 people. Recent heavy rains have endangered residents in dozens of provincial towns where temporary construction makes neighborhoods susceptible to landslides and flooding. The 1985 Armero disaster has been Colombia's deadliest landslide, killing more than 20,000 people.
Okay. Masay balita, Mark. Di ko mo agi dira oy. Wala di ko kadto na ginili. Matot amin ya, kusog diri ya, kusog sa dito asa man ta mo agi? Di oy. Naka kusog dito ah. Diri ba kading mara? Tubog sa dila dito, ginili. No? Naguba ang baril dia. Ilahan to net, guba kayo. Guba jud dito kana. Dai, makita naman dira. Hello guys, hello. Okay. Tanang ta? It's more fun in Corme. It's more fun. Goy, ang ilahang ilay, Goy. Naguba kayong koral nito nit. Ha? Guba ang koral nito nit. Ambot wala lagi, dili lagi may kasud kay kusog man. Ha? Mo aton tami niya kusog man. Ha? Ha? Kusog mo gud kaayo, Goy, basin ma. Di kakakuha na, Goy. Okay, huwag mo kusog pa na, mahurot din ha.
Large parts of the country are reeling under heat wave conditions. Mercury is hovering above 40-degree mark in most parts of North India. In Rajasthan, a severe heat wave sweeping through the desert has thrown normal life out of gear. Sri Ganganagar was hottest place in the state with maximum temperature of 46 degrees Celsius. Mercury touched 44.3 degrees Celsius in Barmer, 46 degrees in Churu and 45 degrees in Bikaner, 44.5 degrees in Jaisalmer and 43.2 degrees in Jaipur. In Hyderabad, the joint capital of Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, maximum temperature was 43 degrees. In Delhi, it ranged between 41.2 and 43 degrees. The Met Department has issued a heat wave alert over Maharashtra, Gujarat, Rajasthan, Punjab and Haryana for next 3 to 4 days.
As heat waves soar throughout India, people are looking for shades wherever they can. Exhausted by the intensity of early summer heat, many cool out whatever way possible. At the iconic India Gate, children dip in the pools to keep themselves cool. Many street vendors are, however, doing good business, selling fresh water, juices and watermelons.
I think it is 40 degrees above. Yeah, in Calcutta, March less from here. Here we are feeling too hot. We are using umbrellas, goggles, and we are eating ice cream and cold drinks.
Weather forecasts suggest the temperatures across northern India, including the capital New Delhi, are set to further rise, prompting health warnings from the authorities. Studies suggest India will be a hotspot of humidity and extreme heat due to rapid expansion and population.
At present, the heat wave is covered the most part of northwest India, even central India and some parts of peninsular India and West India. There is likely this may be going to alarming as per our IMD press release.
In several cities, heat waves in recent years and heat-related deaths have prompted authorities to draw plans and advisories to deal with the situation. Intense heat during summer is common in India, but this year it has arrived earlier than expected, causing problems for those living on the streets and farms, as well as construction workers. According to India's Meteorology Department, extreme heat took the lives of around 700 people last year. As the scorching summer arrives, so does diseases such as malaria, chikungunya and dengue fever intensify. Heat waves across India typically start from the month of May to July, before the arrival of monsoon season, with the capital New Delhi recording its hottest March and April in a decade. Authorities have warned people to brace for more intense spell in coming days. Munawar Zaman, Press TV, New Delhi.
The department has continued to issue heatwave warnings to several states, including the national capital, Maharashtra, Uttar Pradesh, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh and Rajasthan, as the mercury rose steadily in most places across north and central India. Let's look at this report.
It's only mid-April and the temperatures continue to soar well into the 40s across the country. Scorching heat waves prevailed at most parts of the north and central India, and Met Department issued heat wave warnings in several states, including Delhi, Maharashtra, Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh and Gujarat. As heat singes part of the country, India's Meteorological Department data revealed that the country received the lowest pre-monsoon rain in the past 4 years. During March this year, India had an 8% deficit in its pre-monsoon showers in March this year.
Winter seemed reluctant to leave parts of Germany, which received heavy snowfall on Easter Monday. In Siegen, fire crews were out cutting down branches from trees covered in a thick blanket of snow. For some, it meant traffic chaos, with Autobahn 45 backed up for 10 kilometers between Hagen and Olpa as rescue services attempted to clear up minor accidents.
Most of Romania is shivering under sub-zero temperatures and winds exceeding 70 kilometers per hour. It's certainly not feeling like spring right now across Central Europe, as a cold spell brings blizzards and heavy snowfall to countries including Germany, Poland and Slovakia. In eastern Ukraine, a white coat, 30 centimeters thick in some areas, now covers the spring blossoms. In Kharkiv, the country's second largest city, the weight of the snow has pulled down trees and electric supply lines, leaving over 1,000 homes without any power and disrupting traffic. This man says, I'm 70 years old and I've never seen weather like this in April. In Switzerland, too, more than 20 centimeters of snow have fallen in 2 days, and the freezing temperatures are starting to worry farmers and wine growers alike. The cold spell could bite until the middle of next week.
Above average temperatures have been dominating the U.S. so far this year, so much so that the number of warm temperature records are crushing cold temperature records by a ratio of more than 5-to-1 through April. According to the Southeast Regional Climate Center, only the Pacific Northwest and Northern Rockies have seen mean temperatures that are colder than average so far. Here's a look at some of the places that have had the highest temperatures so far this year, and there have been over 27,000 daily warm records compared with just over 5,000 daily cold records in the U.S. this year. That's approximately 5.5 warm records for every daily cold record.
The fishing industry is reeling from warming ocean waters. Fish and shellfish are shifting their habitats to adapt to the rising water temperatures, and local fishermen may find their nets a little lacking.
Now, other ocean impacts include a rise in bacteria that could make seafood fans sick. Ocean explorer Fabian Cousteau joins us now from New York. Welcome, Fabian. Tell us about how you're seeing these increases in bacteria in these fish.
Well, it's not surprising. Between climate change-related issues and ocean acidification, along with the absorption of additional CO2, man-made CO2, into the ocean column, we're getting all sorts of algal blooms and bacterial blooms, and that's certainly disrupting a lot of the ecosystem, including, of course, for economic reasons. We're being impacted quite heavily.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. The fact that there are these bacteria specifically in shellfish, is it affecting the prices that we pay?
Well, I would imagine, I'm not an economist, but I have seen anecdotally prices rise quite a bit, not only from the lack of catch, but also for having to throw some of the catch out because it's been infected. And that's has a lot to do with what we're putting in our oceans, whether it be on a chemical level or on a CO2 buildup level.
How would one know that they're experiencing fish with more bacteria? How would one's body react to it if you eat the same amount of fish?
Well, our bodies are amazing things, right? So we can resist a lot of bacteria, a lot of infections, et cetera, et cetera. But there is a point at which we start getting to a point where we can't resist. And, seafood poisoning is pretty obvious, and you'll probably feel the effects within a few minutes to a few hours. And it's really not a pleasant thing. For those who have had it, they can tell you that they'd rather die than have it again.
How are fishermen adapting to this?
So I really feel for the fishermen. I don't know why, as a community, we're not doing more farming than fishing, because we got away from hunter-gathering on land 10,000 years ago. Why are we still hunter-gathering in the oceans? As far as being able to control the stocks, being able to bring that nutrition to the markets that are needed, we need to start looking at sustainable ways of farming certain species that are actually sustainable and stop with the eating of the lions and tigers of the sea.
Fabian, how are the changes in the ocean temperatures and bacteria and CO2 changing migration patterns with different species?
It's disrupting everything, actually, between the temperature variations which affect the food web, right? So everything from the phytoplankton and zooplankton changing patterns, it affects the animals from the minnows, the sardines, and all the way on up to the tunas. It affects their migratory patterns. It affects the entire ecosystem. And don't forget that with CO2 absorption in the ocean, it also increases the acidification, which breaks down a lot of the babies, the shrimp, the lobster, and all sorts of other things that we enjoy eating.
Very interesting. Fabian Cousteau, thank you so much for sharing that story.